Hi, I am John from Just Whisky. If you like today's show, please click like and subscribe. And remember, no matter how much it costs or how good it is, it's just whiskey, folks. And yes, it is me. I shaved off my goatee quite a bit, so there's a noticeable difference. And I want to thank all the people that have been subscribing and liking my shows, as I am a fairly new channel and growing. And I really appreciate the support of the comments and the subscribers. And I look forward to more. And I want to thank you. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about the Springbank family and how it relates to pricing and overhyped. I got your attention with the overhyped. Let me make some room and I'll put these down here. We're going to get back to these in a little bit. Let me clarify when I say overhyped. What I really mean is us whiskey enthusiasts, like myself, watch other whiskey tubers. In the past 3 years, when I've really been passionately getting involved with mostly Scotch, but bourbons and rums and some Irish whiskey, I've watched over the past 3 years, hundreds and hundreds of hours from just about anybody and everybody that's doing a whiskey tube. And I think sometimes, I'm using myself as an example, we get caught up maybe in other people's enthusiasm, which is genuine. And we all have different tastes. Different budgets, different mindsets. So when we talk today, we're going to talk about something interesting that has really made my my alarm bells go off. There is many excellent whiskey tubers out there, but one in particular called Whiskey Mystery, where there's a gentleman, Phil and Deepa, and they do blind tastings. I'm sure anybody that's watching this probably is familiar with that. They did a show about a week ago called Live number 181, Springbank 21, 2018. And I found it very, very, very interesting. And I had to write notes to jog my memory. But it was a very sobering blind review, which is what they specialize in, blind reviews. And Phil and Deepa did not know what the sample was, but before you even watch the show, they tell you what it is, obviously. And they were sampling and reviewing a Springbank 21 2018. And Phil was a bit baffled and challenged. And in the beginning, some of these are quotes. And I'm going to put a link to his show in my description below so you can cross-reference it. But in sampling the Springbank 21 2018, which he did not, it was blind taste, obviously. He didn't know what it was. In the beginning of his sampling, he said he wasn't sure if he even liked it. And he had a challenging time identifying it, although he did at one point did mention a possible Springbank, but but he had a hard time identifying it. And matter of fact, he couldn't really identify it come to the end. But he also put it in the not worth it category, which we're going to get to more about that. Yeah, he said he didn't, this is before he found out what it was. He said he didn't like it very much. He said it didn't have a long finish. It was watery, simple, flat, thin. These are all his words. And towards the end, he even jokingly mentioned the word rubbish. I'm assuming, I'm not sure that, I don't want to take it out of context, but he mentioned that in a joking way, which of course it wasn't rubbish, but he did say that, but I don't know if it was in reference. I watched the whole show 2 different times. And again, this is, I'm not slamming them. Matter of fact, just the opposite. I think what they do and what they did is excellent work. In the end, when he finally did the reveal, he was really surprised. They both were. And he did say it was good, but only $100 to $150 good. Now, you know, if you try buying a Springbank 21 or even a Longrow 21, you're going to be hard-pressed to even find one, but if you can, they're probably going to be in the $500 range retail, maybe a little less and maybe a little more. And then another commentator, in while his live was going on, commented that his 2 favorites in recent years of the Springbank 21 was the 2019 and the 2020. And other prominent reviewers that I've watched highly praised the 2019 Springbank 2019 Springbank 21. They also thought that the Longrow 21 and the Longrow 18, and possibly they might have been referring to the Springbank 21, were a bit on the thin side. Okay. In the end, Whisky Mysteries' summation was that they also tried the 2019 21 that they had a sample of afterwards, and they compared them. And in his opinion, he found the Springbank 21 2018 and 2019, quote, underwhelming and both flat. However, he did issue that with a caveat saying that they are good, but not $500 good, more like $100 to $150 good. That got my juices flowing, and I wanted to talk about prices and where they were and where they are now and possibly where they're heading. I already did a review of the Longrow non-age stated, heavily peated. They call it the gold label. And then, of course, the classic Springbank 10, both non-chill filtered, both 46%, no coloring added. I'm not going to be comparing them or reviewing the Springbank 10 today, but I just want to illustrate them, use them for examples. So approximately 2 to no more than 3 years ago, but in that range, I could buy, and I did buy, the Springbank 10 through the Netherlands, okay, between 2 and 3 years ago for $35. I could buy the Springbank 10. That same time frame in the U.S., I bought a bottle of Springbank 10 2 to 3 years ago for around $62. This Longrow 2 to 3 years ago, not this particular one, but Longrow Gold, heavily peated, non-age dated. 2 to 3 years ago, I paid $40 through the Netherlands. It was lower than that in euros, but I already equated the exchange rate in there. But now, if you saw my review about the Longrow, now these retail for $60 to $70 range. The highest I've seen it for is $75. And the Springbank 10, they're going well over $70 or $80, and a lot of them now $90 plus dollars. If you can even find them. So it's dramatic. And now also what I want to talk about is this is the Springbank 21 2019, which I have not opened. I actually have two of these, and I have another Springbank 21, which the code has been obliterated. It's either a 2018 or earlier, but I'm not sure. But I bought this 2019 through the Netherlands for like $300 American equivalent. The euros were $270, something like that. So about $300 American. And this Longrow 18 2016 I bought at the same time as I bought this, and I paid $130 for it, again through the Netherlands. So both of these are 70 milliliters. They're not the US 750 milliliters, 700 milliliters, I mean. 70 CLs is what they label it here, but in America they're 750. Sorry for the confusion. And now that Springbank 21 retails for around $500, and a Longrow 18 is retailing for about $220, and sometimes even more than that. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about my experience. 2 or 3 years ago, I watched many YouTubers, but 3 or 4 very prominent YouTubers were saying, in their opinions, obviously, that the Springbank 21 2019, they highly rated it, highly regarded it, and said it was one of the better ones that they've had. Like dangerously delicious, one of their favorites. So with their enthusiasm, I went and bit the bullet and paid $300 for this, which was a shocking amount of money for me to do at that time. But in hindsight, now they're $500. So that's why it remains unopened, and I've been saving it for a special occasion. And what the special occasion is going to be, we're going to get back to pricing a little bit, but when I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I will open this Springbank 21, and I will review it and compare it to other Springbanks. And on a more modest level, when I get to 500 subscribers, then I will open this Longrow 18 2016 and review it. But they're just a little too pricey, and I have so many bottles already open that I haven't even reviewed yet. So that's my goal for those two. And now in America, tariffs have been lifted or suspended for a certain amount of time. A rhetorical question that I would ask is, do you really think that the retailers are going to start lowering their prices? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And if they don't, I can't really blame them. In my opinion, some of the harder to get, allocated scotches, like some of the Ardbeg committee releases and special releases and Lefroy, Carchus and Springbanks and whatever else becomes the new hyped or sought after whiskey. I can't imagine the retailers lowering their prices because of the tariffs. Maybe some of the more standard brand names like Glenlivet 12 and the likes. Maybe we will see a price break on those. Who knows? Another thing, kind of related, which I've been in the back of my mind, is the Ardbeg Corey Reckon. I've tried most of the Ardbegs out there. The Ugadale, which everybody raves about, I appreciated it, but it wasn't my jam. I didn't dislike it at all. I just didn't. It just didn't really do it for me. However, the Corey Reckon is my favorite Ardbeg out of the core range, hands down. And I think in the Ardbeg family, bang for buck, although it's enticing with all their annual committee releases, I really feel that the Ugadal, but for me, the Corey Reckon, beats all of them. And for my liking, the Corey Reckon is a phenomenal whiskey. Never mind even from the Ardbeg family. Anybody that's watched my show knows that for the price, my favorite peated whiskey is Lecheg 10. But a step up from that price-wise, the Corey Reckon right now is retailing for around $75 to $85, but I've also seen as high as $95 to $100. So I just picked this one up fairly recently, a couple of months ago, for $79. But they're going up. But I still think value-wise, this is one hell of a bang for your buck. It's really, really good. And of course, the 10-year-old, you can't go wrong with that. The 10-year-old, as you know, retails between $50 to $60. The Corey Reckon's around $80. That's on the lower end from what I've been seeing. So I'm a little concerned, and I only paid $300 for this Springbank 21, based on some prominent reviewers. I don't think I'm going to be disappointed in it. but I won't know until I get 1,000 subscribers, till I find it's worthwhile to open this up and see for myself. But a blind taste, what Phil did in Deepa from Whiskey Mystery, and you could just tell they were dumbfounded themselves, really, even mildly shocked, I think, at how underwhelmed they were with the blind tasting of a highly regarded Scotch. And I say this because I respect what Phil and Deepa are doing on Whiskey Mystery. I put stock into their tasting and their reviews because they are blind. And when they are blind, obviously they're more honest, and they're more what's the word? Transparent. That's the word I was looking for. Transparent. So as far as pricing goes, everything's going up. Pickup trucks are going up. Cars are going up. Housing is going through the roof right now. And but I have quite an overstock of whiskey, so I don't really need to stock up anymore for price averaging. But if I on my travels, if I saw a Talisker 10 or a Lacheg 10 or a Longrow heavily peated for a reasonable price, I might buy two of those. And I'm just throwing those out there because I like all those whiskeys I just mentioned, or even a Corey Reckon, for a matter of fact. Again, I bought the last one on the shelf 2 months ago for $79, and now I'm seeing them almost everywhere else for $15 or $20 or $25 more than that. So that, to me, that shows that it's the direction that maybe they're heading. But whatever it was 2 or 3 years ago when I bought, these are all 2019, this 10-year-old, I bought 5 bottles of it. I just cracked open this one. I still have 4 more. That's not what I usually do. Usually I buy, if I think I'm going to like something, or it's been highly regarded or highly rated, I usually buy 2. One to open up at some point, and one to keep for a rainy day, for maybe my retirement. Who knows? So if you see a bargain out there, don't go crazy. We all have to stick with our budgets. But anyway, this is my longest review I've ever done, which isn't even a review. I'm calling it an add-on, as a special feature. Again, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everyone that likes and subscribes. And as an incentive, like I said, once I get 500 subscribers, I'm going to crack this baby open, the Longrow 18, 2016. And when I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I will open up the 2019 Springbank 21 and see for myself. So as I always say, no matter how good it is or how much it costs, it's just whiskey, folks. So hats off to you all, and take care.